Hi everyone, my name is Maria Carmo, and today is the first video about Catalyst Proposals Fund 14. I brought here a guest that's gonna explain a little bit about Layer Zero in Cardano, and I hope you enjoy this interview. It will just be a lovely conversation, not very long, short about this project. And if you have a proposal and you want to present it, just reach out. It will be a pleasure to have you on the channel. I'm not able to take everybody on the channel because there's many proposals, but I will help as much as I can. Thank you very much. And hello, Anisha. How are you?
Hello, hey Maria, hi everyone.
Calling from today, where you're based. Just present yourself for the community. This is a channel completely about Cardano heads, so people that love Cardano. So I would like them to know about your project and maybe vote for you, or maybe know your work for the next fund when you came around with new proposals.
Amazing. Yeah, firstly, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I'm the co-founder of a company called Bloctopus, and we specialize in building developer infrastructure. In particular, we help create dev environments for blockchain developers. So, just to tell you a bit about my background and about Bloctopus as well, we got started as a research project under the Ethereum Foundation about 2.5 years ago. And at that time, we were researching kind of like a simulation technology, which would help people create dev environments on demand, but in a very realistic way. So, fast forward a couple of years, we ended up maintaining and working on an open source technology called Kurtosis. So, this is basically public goods that we build and maintain. And we are supported by the Ethereum Foundation and now many other foundations as well. And this helps form the baseline of everything we do. So this is, you can think of it as a fancy Docker Compose that anyone can use to create very realistic kind of images of the EVM, SVM, or any other blockchain. And that can be used, that is being used by developers to create network upgrades. So then we created a lot of these Kurtosis packages, which are kind of like Docker images. And those, everything open source, and they became really successful in that today, all of the Ethereum upgrades, for example, the Fusaka upgrade, the Pectra upgrade, these are being tested on these Kurtosis packages. This has also been adopted by the Polygon Foundation, the OP Foundation, by Thorchain, and some other Cosmos-based chains. And so we realized that this is very valuable public goods infrastructure. And so what we did was we started adding a lot of other Lego pieces to it, right? So what we realized is that it's very difficult. There are lots of different blockchains, but interoperability is still a challenge between these blockchains. And if you're a developer, you're well aware that using kind of local scripting tools like Hardhat or Foundry, they don't really support cross-chain environments. And at the same time, if you try to use public test nets, they don't really have the full mainnet state. So it's actually very difficult to create applications and test applications that are kind of interoperable in different chains. So we started building a lot of cross-chain infrastructure, and with that we've done partnerships and added support for layer zero and across and wormhole and lots of these different protocols. So we're very familiar with these teams and the protocols. So last year I got in touch with the Cardano Foundation and Pierre in particular, and we started discussing about how we can work with the Cardano ecosystem and what are the current challenges. And what we realized is that one of the biggest bottlenecks for the Cardano ecosystem is actually the lack of interoperability, because the tech is amazing, the team is amazing, and just that they have not, for a lot of reasons, some technical because of a new language, some political, it has been very difficult to get a tier one cross-chain messaging protocol adopt Cardano, right? So when I say tier one, I mean layer zero is the biggest one, then there's wormhole, across, and a few others. And what that means is that also limits the stablecoin liquidity for the Cardano ecosystem, right? Because if you look at the PayPal stablecoin Pi USD, that is a native OFT token, which means that it uses layer 0 natively to be on any chain. So if you don't have layer 0, by default, you can't have any Pi USD liquidity. If you don't have the Circle infrastructure, by default, you don't have USDC, native USDC on Cardano. So we were thinking about how we can solve this problem, and that is where, after discussing quite a lot with the teams, we proposed to bring layer 0 to the Cardano ecosystem. What that means is layer 0 is permissionless in terms of anyone can validate and execute transactions using the layer 0 infrastructure. So anyone can create their own DVN and executor. What we will do is we will deploy the layer 0 infrastructure and create our own DVN and executor, which will create very easy cross-chain dev environments for the entire Cardano ecosystem. What this unlocks is, in your testnet and devnet stage, you have a fully functional dev ecosystem that any application can start building on. So people can build cross-chain dexes, they can build bridges, they can build intent protocols, swaps. They can tokenize assets that can be natively used on layer 0 and on Cardano and other blockchains. So it basically kickstarts the entire developer ecosystem. Now, as you will notice, the proposal doesn't include deploying layer 0 on mainnet, because that is a permission process, and we want to involve layer 0 in the conversations that we do that. And this gives, because we will kickstart, like, there's nothing stopping the developers from basically getting their application ready and just changing the RPC and deploying it to mainnet, right? So that gives a lot of negotiation power to the Cardano Foundation to then get layer 0 on mainnet as well. Our infrastructure will remain open source. That means the layer 0 team can come and take over the contracts, the Cardano team can come and take over the contracts, or we can continue to maintain it as we would already do as part of this protocol. The DVN and the executors will also be open source, which means that Cardano Foundation or any other team which is impaneled by Cardano can build their own DVNs or verifiers and executors that can work in tandem with ours or take over our contract. So it's a very modular approach. It's a fully open source approach, and it basically solves the chicken and egg problem, where we will enable the kickstart of the cross-chain developer ecosystem. We will bring stablecoin liquidity and a lot of cross-chain applications to the Cardano Foundation and to the Cardano ecosystem while we're preparing for the Layer 0 mainnet launch.
Thank you so much for you being here, presenting to the community. So how much money are you asking?
Yeah, so we've asked, the proposal asks for 400,000 ADA tokens. As you can imagine, this is a very complex product, and it would require quite a lot of dev resources, and 400K is actually on a very conservative side. So to give you a benchmark, like Layer 0 itself has quoted the Cardano Foundation $10 million and 18 months timeline for executing this exact infrastructure, which we aim to implement over 6 to 8 months and get it fully tested, fully running on Cardano DevNets and testnet.
I fully understand what you're saying about costs. Dev is the biggest bill in any project that you're building, unless who is building is the owner of the project, and then you can get it cheaper because the costs of living is going up everywhere. So does the salary of the devs. What are the social media that people could reach you out and ask questions about your proposal, or maybe find out about your companies, find about your work? Because sometimes you come to the channel and you only think, oh, I'm just talking about the proposal, but many people could be in touch with you, trying to do networking, and who knows, sometimes you're building other stuff with other people in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on all social media, so people can take their pick. We're on X as 0x Bloctopus. I've just dropped the link. You can also reach out to me on Telegram. Yeah, I mean, this should be enough, but otherwise I'm also available on email and LinkedIn. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love it if the community members could take a look at the proposal, vote if they're participating in the Catalyst voting, which is happening this week. And in general, we would just love any help or feedback or amplification that we can get. I've dropped the link to the proposal as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Thank you so much.